Highway on Sirius XM. Tim McGraw is back in the studio. Always one of my favorite days. It's been a while. It's good to see you. You just got off the road with the Soul to Soul tour with your wife. Another successful journey, coast to coast and around the globe.
It was fun. I think we did close to 120 shows in 2 years together.
Wow.
And I think the reflection on this record comes directly from Soul to Soul and singing with my wife every night, because to me, she's one of the top singers in any genre of music in the world. She's just such a great vocalist, and so much heat comes off her vocal, and the range that she has and the tone that she has. So every night I'm kind of like a NASCAR trying to keep up with an Indy car, you know, when I'm trying to sing with her. And certainly singing harmony with her is one of the hardest things in the world to do. But she never sings a song the same way twice, and I have to learn it by rote in order to sing it. But
she's City Lights, and
yeah, exactly right. And so I think it always makes me a better singer to sing with her, and it really pushes my vocal ability and helps me find new places, and I think that reflects on this record.
How does your relationship grow through that 2-year experience? I mean, you've done it before, but it's still just sharing that much time and sharing that much creative space and everything about that tour, what it did for you too.
Yeah, you know, we're a completely different artist, and we approach things in completely different ways. So sometimes there's a rub that goes on there, but she wins. So it makes
bow
it easy.
Down, bam, bam.
Bow down, bam, bam. It makes it easy, but it was a lot of fun. 2 years in the bus together, and in dressing rooms together, and on stage together, and just traveling on planes all the time. It was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed it. Certainly there were times where it was like, come on, this is getting a little tiresome sometimes, but not very often. But the cool thing is, when we got off tour this summer, we got to spend some time together, just sort of hanging out and catching our breath. And then she looked at me and says, "You know, why don't you go on a guys trip?" Listen, I get the hint.
It's a little too much time together.
So I took a bunch of guys and we went spearfishing for about 8 days. So I came back and
reset button,
everything's good.
That's so perfect. And now Soul to Soul's done for a while. Are you guys gonna just do your own separate things for a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm in the middle of working on my project. She's got some things going on as well. You know, getting back into the flow of Audrey, our only daughter left at home. She's a junior in high school, so getting back in her flow and all of her school activities and stuff is really fun, because she took half the year off and was homeschooled so she could travel with us. And so she's been with us a lot. She's ready to get away from mom and dad at the same time.
She's looking for a girls trip.
Yeah, she's looking for a girls trip. But they have a constant girls trip. but yeah, it's just getting back into the flow of life with that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun. And then working on this new record and getting it out, it's fun for me, and it's fun for Faith as well, because she really gets caught up in helping me with
the
my
creative
music
process,
and the creative process, and certainly there's nobody's opinion I value as much as hers when it comes to listening to music.
Has she made you throw a song into the trash can yet for this project?
You know, we don't always agree on songs. But there's songs that she likes, and then sometimes there's songs that she might not necessarily like, and then we finish them and then she loves them. So, and vice versa. There's songs that she likes that I don't, and we finish them and I like them. And then there's songs that neither one of us like at the end. Or then there's songs that she still doesn't like that I love. So, you know, it goes both ways. But I certainly want to hear what she has to say.
And I want to share with our Highway family another brand new Tim McGraw song in just a few minutes. Tim McGraw is here. This is The Highway. Sirius XM, it's The Highway. My name is Stormy Warren, and you know, there's a little bit of anticipation when we know that this guy's coming into the studio, because we've had some interesting times in here. Whether it's been with your buddy Kenny, whether it's been with your wife, which was Bow Down, Bam Bam.
Absolutely.
Do you remember
that?
Yes,
I do remember that. I do. I hear it all the time.
Bow Down. What does that mean, by the way?
It just means yes, ma'am.
Got it. Tim McGraw is here, and the reason he is here is great news, because we've got brand new music, and we've been waiting a while. It's been a while since we've heard brand new solo Tim McGraw music. It's
been a while, yeah. It's been a couple of years. I'm excited about it. I think this is, you know, we had a great 2-year run having fun with Soul to Soul, and in the middle of Soul to Soul, this last year, I started to go to work on new music, and Byron and I spent a lot of time talking and trying to develop the sound that we wanted to have and what we wanted this to feel like. And gosh, we listened to so much music over and over again, trying to get an idea for what we wanted. You know, I wanted a sound that was big and cinematic, and I think that's what we accomplished in this record. But also, what we wanted was, we always want to lean forward when we're making a record and try to push ourselves and push the sounds that we make and push the melodies. And
you've done that your entire career.
Yeah, and push my singing and push the lyrical content and all those things. But we also wanted it to have a sort of a feel like you've heard it before a little bit, you know, which is a fine line to walk. If you can lean forward and still have some recognizability.
Familiarity.
There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm not as educated as you. But And with my Stanford hat on.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let me wear this hat. They heard me talk.
You bought the hat at Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. That's the price of admission. You get a free hat. But yeah, I think we accomplished it. Every song feels like it tells a story, and it's got a vignette to it, and there's some heartache, and there's some redemption, and there's also some thoughtfulness and some sort of a bibliography of your life. Like Thought About You, for instance, you sort of go through your life and growing up and where you're headed in the future, and you think about people who were influential in your life all the way through.
I just heard I Thought About You, the song you just mentioned, for the first time, written by the Warren brothers, your old buddies.
Yeah.
And I'm not related. And Lee Thomas Miller. And the song is, you said cinematic. You nailed that. That's what you were looking for, this song is it. I mean, your buddy Jack Purcell over here, he said it perfectly. It's like there's a point in the song where you reach zero gravity and you're trying to catch up.
Right.
Because the lyrics are just pounded at you, and then you need that breath to catch up, and then you yank us right back into that mode. It's so good.
Oh, thank you. The song what I like about the song, I love the sounds and certainly love the lyric and what it says. But it's rare to find a song that's really driving and has a smoking up tempo feel to it. It has a really heavy ballad, poignant lyric.
Kind of like Angel Boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Angel Boy, which is one of my top favorite Tim McGraw songs.
Thank you. I was thinking about Angel Boy this morning when I was driving in.
Really?
It sure was. Yeah, it was one of my favorite records as well.
Well, it also fits with the theme you were talking about, redemption. I Thought About You as redemption. There's a lot of redemption in that song. There's a lot of redemption in Angel Boy. There's a lot of redemption in your life.
Yeah.
And you look at everything from Humble and Kind, and not just musically, but personally too. How much does that word impact your life on a daily basis?
Well, look, nobody's perfect, and you're always sort of finding ways to make your path a little better and a little cleaner, and you're always, sometimes you're one step forward and two steps back, and you're always looking to be a better person, and you fail miserably sometimes, and sometimes you make progress, and that's what life's all about. You're always sort of crawling and a friend of mine told me when he said the best advice he got, he had lost his brother, and he said a friend called him and says, man, you just keep walking, that's what you can do.
That's great advice. Yeah. Tim McGraw, I want to play that song right now. It's Thought About You. Brand new music, one of two new songs you're dribbling out to us, but I'll take what we can get. We're going to play the other one in a minute. It's called Neon Church, but this is I Thought About You.
We're not dribbling them out. We're firing them out.
Firing out. Tim McGraw on the highway. Sirius XM, proud to have Tim McGraw, my old pal. old pal for a few years, back with new music. And I've told you this before, and I was telling your people too, that I'm very proud to say that there's more Tim McGraw music on my iPod than just about any other artist. And it's because of the way you translate
that's
lyrics.
What Paisley and Keith Urban said you said to them.
Dang it, busted
But you
again.
meant both of those guys combined still don't add up to mine.
That's what I'm saying. But it's what you do vocally. It's what you do with your song choices. You and Byron do in the studio. There's just some magic dust that goes to a Tim McGraw song that makes you feel it. You dive in, and cinematic is a great word for it. You live in these songs, and you're an actor, but you're not just acting. You're in these songs.
Well, I feel like there's got to be a real level of passion and believability in there, and I try not to over-sing anything. Well, I can't over-sing anything, so that's not going to be possible. But I try to put myself. I've said this before when I'm recording a song, and there is a level of putting yourself into the scene when you're recording a song. And I try to sort of, we always have the lights low and sort of create a cool atmosphere when I'm doing the vocals. And I feel like I'm trying to sit across sort of a bar with somebody and tell them how I feel or tell them how they feel sometimes, which is a really good way to do it and get into their head. However, this album, we had so much fun in the studio, and we had such great songs and such great tones and sounds and had such an idea of what we wanted to do when we went in there that, gosh, I would say 98% of these vocals are tracking day vocals. We just went in and cut them and
nailed it
and just kept everything that we recorded while we were singing. And
but it's not that easy. You do a lot of prep work before you step into the
studio.
studio.
I spent a lot of time learning the songs because I really wanted to have a real what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of a first approach passion to it.
Oh, that's interesting.
What I really wanted, and boy, we got it. I mean, I flew in from vacation, or flew in from the road a couple of times, and flew in from vacation one time. Went in the studio, slept on the couch for 3 or 4 days, cut these records, and gosh, we really were excited when we got through with it. I mean, you can even hear on my vocal, you can hear the snare drum sound bleeding through my vocals sometimes because we were writing all in the studio.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. I think it makes it even bigger sounding, and we wanted it to be big, like a big wave coming at you.
It can be bad to be too perfect.
Well, something I don't have to worry about.
The song I want to play right now, it's called Neon Church, and it's maybe the greatest message and the longest standing message in country music. And the Neon Church is exactly what it is. It's the yin and the yang. It's the devil and the angel. It's the pull that we all have as people, and no one is immune to it. And it goes back to Hank Williams. It goes back to Jimmy Rogers. And it's carried through to Johnny Cash. And then through your career, almost on every album, there you touch on this topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a place where you can see people at different stages of their life. And it's not unlike church. You know, some of the happiest and saddest moments you have in your life are at church, weddings and funerals and those sort of things. So in a bar, you're either having a great time or you're drowning your sorrows in a lot of ways. And from my point of view, as an artist who spent a lot of time playing in clubs, and a lot of times not really playing in clubs, but being in clubs and bars, but especially through my college years. But you know, from the pulpit, so to speak, where I'm at when I'm performing in clubs, you see a lot of different scenarios, and you can watch a lot of scenes play out, and you can watch a lot of life unfold. Exactly, many movies, and I think this song reflects that.
It's true. It's the yin and yang of life. Yeah. It's called Neon Church. I'm going to talk about the songwriter after we play this song.
You got it.
It's the Neon Church on the Highway. Tim McGraw. Is here. That was Neon Church, written by one of our highway finds, Ross Ellis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing song. And it's a song that an up-and-coming artist like Ross Ellis probably would have loved to have kept for himself. But the problem is his all-time idol wanted to record it. So I think he was very
luckily, I'm the one that got it, however.
That is hysterical. What about the demo when you heard it? What about the song? What grabbed you?
Yeah, you know, the melody, of course. And then instantly I knew what I wanted to do with the record and what I wanted it to sound like. Plus the lyric is just, there's not a misplaced word in the entire lyric of this song. I mean, everything just sort of fits perfectly. When you get to the bridge, it's just something cool about the bridge, the way it lays itself out. And then we wanted these huge guitars on it. And we listened to Purple Rain quite a bit when we were preparing to do this song. We were in the studio. So what can we do guitar-wise to really make this thing stand out? And we certainly wanted the church organ sort of sound to go in it. But boy, these guitars on this thing are really sick. And they just, I think they sort of light a fire, so to speak, to what the lyrics say.
And also with your vocals, I hear you in a range that we haven't heard you a lot.
Yeah, it starts out pretty high. I mean, it goes from there. So, but I like, you know, I think a lot of times listening back to I have a sort of a thick voice, so sometimes my vocal's higher than it sounds when you go back and listen to it. And sometimes I find that out embarrassingly at the wrong time. I find out, wow, I cut this a little higher than I thought.
You got to do it every night.
You got to do it every night, but sometimes adrenaline doesn't quite kick in. But
it's an amazing song. So Ross Ellis, as we mentioned, is a huge fan of yours, so much so that he went to your alma mater, joined your same fraternity, and was stared at the Pike Shrine of Tim McGraw that sits in the fraternity house. We talked to him about it just the other day. Here's our conversation with Ross Ellis. You not only are obsessed with Tim McGraw, so much so that you went to his same school and joined his same fraternity.
Same college, same fraternity. And we were talking a minute ago. We got like a shrine in the frat house. It's like Tim McGraw everything.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you know, I played around town throughout all my college years, and it was kind of a running joke, like, you're gonna be up there one day, Ross, man. And so I always wanted to kind of slip up like one of those pocket pictures next to Tim McGraw's right.
That's cool. I mean, he looks up to you so much.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, look, and I look up to him. I mean, these songwriters and these guys that come in and write stuff that move you like that, and certainly new guys that come up and are able to tap into something like that are just really incredibly talented. And boy, I wouldn't have a career without guys who write that well.
You are a mentor to him. Who is your mentor?
Wow, I mean, there's so many people. Joe Diffie early in my career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gosh, I can remember before I was recording my first album, I would listen to Joe Diffie wide open all night, every night, and try to copy every single lick that he did. And I couldn't come close, but Joe Diffie's one of the greatest singers ever. George Strait, I mean, learned so much from George Strait being on the road, touring with him for 3 years, doing stadiums together, which was a lot of fun. And then other people that I grew up just sort of idolize and listen to is probably Eagles right at the top of my list, and Merle Haggard top of my list. So those are the things that I listened to and loved. But as far as somebody who just early on in my career that I looked up to and got to see their career happening as mine was developing was Joe Diffie. Yeah.
What a voice, too.
Yeah, what a voice.
Mentorship seems to be a little lost right now in today's society. If you're looking at your kids or any young artist, I mean, you want to support mentorship and the importance of it to these kids because they think they're on an island and try to do it all on their own.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is, and everybody stands on somebody's shoulders in what they do. And I think that you got to be proud of that and be aware of that.
That's cool. Tim McGraw is here. We talked about cinematic being a theme. We talked about redemption. I want to talk about both of those things in just a few minutes. This is The Highway. XM, we're here with Tim McGraw, going deep. You said you got one kid left at home.
Yeah, one left at home, and then we'll be empty nesters. So,
Does it scare you?
A little bit. I mean, I think it's tough either way when your kids start leaving the house, and of course, on one hand, you're cheering them on, and you want them to go conquer the world and do great things. But on the other hand, you miss them, and you sort of miss the need that they have for you and the things that you do for them. Especially for moms, I think it's super hard because and having 3 girls as well. You know, they're always moms so used to doing things for them and helping them set their world up, and when they sort of leave, it sort of leaves a little bit of a hole for mom. So I think it's pretty hard for them. But
it's kind of neat. You just lifted up your phone before the interview and you said, "Oh, my daughter's boyfriend's texted me right now."
I know.
It's a tight relationship.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he does text me. Yeah, absolutely. But he doesn't know I have cameras hidden
everywhere. There's 2 terms. There's helicopter parenting, and now we just learned a new one the other day called lawnmower parenting.
Yeah, what does that mean? I heard that too.
Lawnmower parenting, helicopter parenting just means you're hovering around everything your kid does.
Yeah.
Lawnmower parenting is basically clearing the way for no obstacles to ever get in their way, which can be dangerous.
Well, yeah, you gotta have losses and some setbacks in your life in order to figure out how to grow. You know, you got to be steel through fire sometimes, and if you're not, then when something really bad happens, you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to put yourself back together.
Do you and Faith look at each other sometimes when you see your daughters growing up, and you go, "Wow, we did this"?
Yeah, we do it. Sometimes we say, "Wow, we did this."
We did that. That's so cool. Tim McGraw is here. We're going to get to the cinematic part of the conversation. One more break with Tim. This is The Highway. Here. We talk about what you do on the big screen. We talk about how you carry the acting skill set into your vocals, into music. Obviously, that came first, which now translates into your acting. We loved you as Willie in The Shack.
Oh, thank you.
No offense to Mr. Worthington, but I really thought those roles should have been flipped.
Oh, I don't know. Sam was a great actor.
No, he was great. I just would have loved to have seen you in that role as Matt.
Yeah, it would have been fun. It would have been fun. He was such a great actor to work with, and such a low-key delivery. You learned a lot watching from him. Look, I've been lucky in acting, certainly being sort of a neophyte at it when I first started doing it, to work with really my first big movie to work with Billy Bob Thornton, Friday Night Lights. I learned so much from him.
What a role
for you. Great role. It's still one of my favorites that I've ever played, is to play that guy.
That car scene still gives me the willies every time I see it. You have not, just kicking the window out.
Yeah, we had to time that, and that was because there was a mini explosion in the window. So I had to time it in my head and count and kick the window at the same time the little impact, the explosion went off. So
God, you're such an asshole.
I know. Well, you know, I wanted to play. Look, it was written just as clearly as an asshole, but I tried to put some depth into it where you could sort of
the desperation and the vulnerability.
See there was somewhere he was coming from that caused him to be that way.
You and I may have talked about this before, but I've got a clip of my favorite acting role you've ever done. And it's going to surprise you what it is. It's from a Big and Rich video.
Oh, boy.
It's from Lovin' Lately. You played a bartender. And just listen to this. This, to me, is Tim McGraw's best acting he's ever done.
I keep thinking of other ways to get her back, but she's already moved on.
Hey, look, I've made so many mistakes in my past. I've spent most of my life wishing my knees bent the other way so I could kick my own ass. Mistakes, man. They're just another word for experience. Figure out what you can from it and learn.
The only thing I've learned is that I'm an idiot.
You've heard the old saying that some things just aren't meant to be?
Yeah.
A lot of truth in that.
That was great. It's such a little small part, but it was so important.
It was fun. You know, I'm glad those guys asked me to be a part of that. Of course, we wrote the Lovin' Lately song together.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of those guys. You know, they're both so talented and such great songwriters.
I'm a huge fan as well. Anything on the horizon for movies?
There's movies. Oh, gosh, they're tough to do for me because it's timing for one thing, and then finding something that you really like and you really love, and then that they want you for, that falls in the timeline that you have and the time that you do it. And it's enough part that for me, I hate sitting around and sitting still. So you got to find something that you get enough work to do in it that you're not sitting around all the time, because that can drive you crazy. But
sure.
But there are a couple, you know, and the great thing is the things that are happening on TV, like Amazon and Netflix and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Those series, those are really interesting. And there's a couple of those that are being kicked around right now that might be really cool. We'll have to just see what timing
You'll have to come back.
Feels like I will.
It's awesome. Tim McGraw, congratulations on the new music. You got me fired up. I think about you is just wow.
You think about me all the time, don't you?
I do. I think about you every day. And then Neon Church, congratulations on the new music. Now bring us more.
I will, absolutely.
It's Tim McGraw on The Highway. Thanks for coming.
You got it.